Globalization without Russia and China. America's government considers its hegemony threatened by Russia and China, and its effort is to encircle and destabilize these superpowers with the ultimate goal of either their complete dissolution or at the very least weakening them to the point where they would be forced to accept U.S. sovereignty. I really don't think that's possible, but that's what the aim of the U.S. politics is. In order to achieve this, they started first with Russia with the aim of weakening it so they could then easily destroy their great enemy, China. The Ukraine war made it easier for the U.S. to isolate China. In the Pacific, already Japan doubled its military spending, $320 billion, and acquired long-range weapons from the U.S. Globalization without Russia and China. On the Ukraine conflict war front, everything shows that the preparations end with the end of the summer, and in the fall, maybe in September, the big events, the big clash, the big disaster will begin. Security guarantees from NATO to Ukraine. Western powers consider the security guarantee plan to be a step towards an eventual integration of Ukraine into NATO. The Telegraph says the plan foresees equipping Kiev to defend itself against Russian aggression. Allies are legally bound to continue military aid to Ukraine. German media reported NATO's plan for a coming war with Russia was recently approved by the NATO conference in Lithuania. The 4,000-page plan includes deployment of 300,000 NATO military personnel on the Russian border. These forces will be on high alert. The supreme commander of NATO forces in Europe will be able to take certain decisions without consulting the alliance. Germany will become the most important logistic hub for the alliance forces. A second NATO ground force headquarters in Weisenbad, Germany, is even planned. In addition, the major NATO countries have created areas of responsibility for the states on the eastern side of the alliance: Germany in Lithuania, Great Britain in Estonia, and Canada in Latvia. The alliance intends to strengthen units with heavy weapons, increase the stockpile of long-range missiles and artillery systems. The 100,000 American soldiers will remain in Europe. This means that NATO forces, taking into account auxiliary units, will amount to more than 1 million soldiers, according to War News 247 Greece. Wagner deploys 90,000 soldiers in Belarus, 200,000 men called for conscription by Zelensky in Ukraine. Ukraine has been under the control of NATO and America for years, and there's no need to make it a member of NATO now. F-16 fighters are already in Ukraine, and the training of Ukrainian F-16 pilots was done months ago. Also, cluster missiles, new battle tanks, anti-tank missiles, and other known and unknown weapons have been sent. Don't forget that F-16s can carry nuclear weapons. Security guarantees from NATO to Ukraine oblige all NATO countries to allow the provision of modern armaments for land, sea, and air, with priority long-range artillery, air defense systems, fighter battle tanks, etc. And these will apply to the countries that are members of NATO, even if the government of one country changes and elects another. This is what the president of Poland said. NATO intends to move 100,000 troops to Poland if needed, but why is there a plan to immediately move 100,000 NATO troops to Poland? 1. NATO ground forces will enter western Ukraine to prevent Wagner from closing the Ukrainian border. 2. Or in NATO, do they envision a direct conflict with Wagner forces on the Suwalki corridor to Lithuania? 3. Does NATO intend to enter Ukraine as a peaceful force? Something reminds me of this. The Elder said October 2022, "My children, if NATO enters Ukraine with Zelensky, when Zelensky invites them, it will not matter if they call it the peace force, because this move by NATO for the Russians will be a cause of war. Then Poland will be used by NATO as one of the entrances of the NATO force on the territory of Ukraine. If this happens, you will see a very different Russia. It will turn into a raging bear that will not pity anyone. It will be like volcanic lava that will wipe out everything in its path." message of the elder on April 17th, 2022. He said, but the war will suddenly avoid them. Something will happen that they will not expect because of the countries that will take part in the council. 1 or 2 states will break the agreement and they will do something unpleasant. And then it will be the overflow. Then it will be the war will suddenly avoid them. Something will happen that they will not expect because of the countries that will take part in the council. 1 or 2 states will break the agreement and they will do something unpleasant. And then will be the overflow. Then will be that which is coming, that which has not understood the mind of man, whatever that is. He didn't explain what that was. Kiev ordered citizens of the capital to prepare for national resistance due to possible attacks by the Wagner force. A large convoy of Wagner spotted with weapons such as anti-aircraft tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles. The elder told us long ago that if peace is not found in Ukraine, Kiev will be destroyed and those who will rebuild it will be Greco-Russians. That's for me hard to believe, but anyway, that's what he said. There is no longer any point of negotiation or de-escalation between Russia and the West. The psychopathic leaders are determined to carry out genocide. Unfortunately, their insanity has escalated this conflict into a situation where whoever launches nukes first will have the advantage. Can you believe this? The Guardian revealed that billionaires formed the Good Club, quote unquote, in 2009 to save the world, as they said. But the Sunday Times reported, quote, some of America's top billionaires met secretly to consider how their wealth to slow down world population growth. That is a decrease in the world population. And this I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.